Hello, everybody. Hey, this is your host, Beverly Francois, and welcome to The Grind Behind the Business. Welcome, everyone. Today, we have a special guest. I am looking forward to this interview. So, today, I welcome none other than Arlene Mason. Hey.
Hi.
Welcome behind the business, girlfriend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. It's good
Yes,
to be here.
my my honor. Um, so Arlene, how far back do we go? We
I,
go way back. Okay,
I
let
don't
me
want to call. I
see.
don't want to call the number because I
And we
don't
don't
want
want to look
to
too
age.
old either, right?
But we've been
Ugh,
since
yes.
since single digit years. That's all I will say. Single digit years.
Yes, my lord. Um, since what? High school, elementary school.
Elementary school.
Yeah. We
Elementary
we
school.
we didn't go to the same schools, but we lived right next to each other.
Exactly. And I remember running over to your house because your mom used to make the best snacks. So I just love going over to your mom's house to get some of
Yes,
the snacks. She was awesome. Your mom was just
yes.
she was amazing.
And Miss Lyris. Everybody know Miss Lyris.
That's right.
Um,
Mr.
all
McKenna.
of our kids now call her mama.
Exactly. That's how
Yes,
close we are. That's how close we
that's
are.
how close we are. So I am just so thankful for you just accepting the invite to be on the grind behind the business, because I wanted everyone to see that the grind doesn't really just stay within the community and the neighborhood. People are doing this thing all over the world.
Yeah, exactly.
And even though there may be a different culture and there may be a different background, doesn't matter, the entrepreneurship, it's real.
The
And it's
dream
important that people know that,
Yeah,
right?
the dream is the same, and what underpins everything, what drives everything, it doesn't matter the culture. I mean, everyone, most of us, we do have a dream and we want to fulfill that dream. We want to find our purpose and fulfill our purpose. So that basically, if that's the foundation and the grounding and what underpins, you finding your grind, then we're all family here.
Yes, yes, I agree with that 100%. So I'm going to start with my first question. What was the biggest influencer in your life?
Okay, well, so the first question, who would have been the biggest influencer? Most of us, we look back and we have so many different persons at so many different milestones in our lives. But I think for me, my parents definitely were the foundation and that backbone in terms of who I am today, specifically my father. My father was very influential in my life, extremely influential in, my education, what he saw for me, the things he wanted for me as well. And I think it sort of stemmed with him wanting more for his life. But of
Yes.
course, back in those days, in the good old days, he may have been limited.
Yeah.
Exactly. I
Now,
think
what was the background with your dad? Now, is it that his because of his personality? Is it because of his career? What was the thing that influenced you most with your dad?
the things he would have contributed to me seeing and hearing and listening to, whether it was music or art or culture, he was always very, very global in his thinking, despite the fact that he didn't travel to many places.
Right.
He was extremely global and very open in his thinking.
Yeah.
And he just never saw Trinidad as the only playing space for
Yeah.
us, for his children. He saw,
Yeah.
moving ahead. And I think after he passed, you have to kind of go through that grief and that period where you might
Mhm.
be a little bit lost.
Yes, yes.
For me, finding him was part of finding what I think is my purpose, and that kind of helps me stay connected to him in that way. So that's part of my drive, my hustle. It's paying homage to him, is memorializing him, paying tribute to him, and just keeping him close in that way.
Yeah, it is a challenge when you lose someone that is like, because my mom was my influencer. So my other question is, what was something you failed at, Arlene? Because I know you had different roles that you play, different jobs that you may have had, and there were different challenges that you went through. Everybody has them in life,
Right.
in business, that is.
Yeah.
My question to you is, what part, at what point in time, what was one of them that you failed but learned a valuable lesson?
Is when we use the word failure, people tend to see it as something that's final. Um, Failing is not necessarily, it's certainly not final. Failing is about, as you said, it's learning probably what might be a different direction. One of the things I think I'm actually not great at, and what I'm learning about myself as I've gotten older, is how I may not be a perfect employee. And you know,
Wow.
sometimes
Elaborate on that one.
now I'm not saying that I don't,
I know where you're going with
when
this.
I go into an organization, you follow what the policies are. You don't want to break the policies. You don't want to lose your job, right? But I've always had trouble with listening to folks complain about where they are,
Mm-hmm.
and they are there for decades.
Mm.
And I always said that I could not do that. So that I know about myself is something that I struggle with. And in, the last few months, I would say I've kind of stopped struggling with that, because not everyone is cut out for that path. Not everyone is set for, to walk that way. There are some people who are great at it. And there are some of us who, we are a little more free spirited, a little more carefree, and, desire freedom a little bit more.
Right, right. Now, how does that fall into a world as Trinidad and Tobago? I mean, I know, but for everyone who's listening or viewing, how would that be? How would that, like, being that with that type of personality and having that character, the free, how does that would play a part in the society in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yes, so you have to have a thick skin. You have
Mm,
to be very sure about yourself. Um, as with most colonial type societies, Trinidad and Tobago has had its history with colonialism and rules, and following the crowd, and following, societal boundaries, and people being told that this is your place in society and this is where you have to stay, um, because of whatever creed.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and again, I attribute that to my father as well, also putting in me that I don't have to be what society tells me I should be.
But I love how you just and I know in Trinidad, being that we are such a multicultural society, I think there's room for all of that. I love that about, my the country that I originated from, which is Trinidad. I love that multiculturalness,
Yeah,
that you can still fit in any little space. There is a space for you, because even in a culture, in color, in creed, and whatever, there's
yeah,
that space for you, you know?
yeah. And there's that side of it, but also sometimes we tend to fall into the easiest way, and sometimes we might be a little judgmental. Was sometimes the easy way
What
is
way?
mental, that and that's Trini's for you. I mean, we
Yes,
don't like headache.
yes, yes.
We do not like too much headaches.
We don't
We
like headaches, and for the most part, we'll say we don't like drama.
but we are the drama.
But we are the whole vibe.
We are the drama. People just think of this is the time of the year that you know most people they're big on Christmas, but Trini's are big on the carnival season.
Carnival season. That's like our big
Yeah,
tourism season. I mean, you're known to see so many different stars that come to you, the Trinidad for the carnival. I mean,
yeah. There's an influx of tens
yeah,
of
yeah.
thousands of tourists from all over the world.
I
Um,
remember my carnival days, girl.
but
Mm.
you don't have those anymore, so
I
relax.
don't have those anymore. Okay. So, my other question: What was the last? Okay, so right now, you are an entrepreneur, but do you still work?
I do. I do. I still work full
For
time.
that job, what was the job before that, and what was your breaking point, and why did you leave?
It was really interesting. It was helping folks find new careers, and leading folks along, a career path. The thing that kind of interrupted that role for me was COVID. So it really wasn't a choice for me at that point in time, but because of COVID restrictions, the economy really got depressed, and I had to find something else that was going to help me, continue with my earnings and help me pay my bills, etc. But
Now,
around that time, I had already in my mind started to think about, what more I wanted to do for myself.
mm,
So the thought started, it just the seed was planted, and I just knew that whatever I chose to do or whatever path I was in right now after that rule, um, it certainly was not going to be the thing that took me to retirement. Or at least it was not going to be, it certainly wouldn't capture my heart fully, to put it that way. Yeah.
yeah, and that reality sometimes hits. It may take a break or something major to happen before that
Yeah.
hits in
Yeah.
most people's lives. It
Yeah.
never is just something you wake up one day and whatever. It's like a reality that kicks in and you go, okay, this is
Need to reorganize some plans, need to reorganize
not
myself.
gonna work. Yeah, yeah. Either
And yeah,
fail or not. I gotta make a change. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Facebook. You want to tell us a little bit about the founder? You are the founder of a
So so
group.
my so my Facebook page is called Get Out and Go Travel. And as well, during COVID, literally, I would spend time on travel websites,
Mhm.
fake booking. And when I say fake booking, I would like set up, I want to go to far off places. I want to go to the Cook Islands. I want to go to Fiji. I want to go to the Maldives.
Yes.
Set a date, and then I would see the cost, and I would think to myself, well, that isn't so expensive.
Right.
I think I could actually go there because one of the things, travel is one of the most researched words on Google,
Mm.
and people are looking up travel during their daytime job hours. And but one of the things people think about is, or at least one of the things they believe prohibits them from traveling is the cost of it. People are thinking about, well, I've got priorities, I've got to pay my bills, I've got to save money, I've got kids, etc. School fees, put food on the table, etc. But why not put money into your dreams? Why not feed or plant a seed that will help you, do that dream trip or that dream vacation or
Mm,
somewhere, because travel also educates you. It's one of the most valuable experiences that you can have.
yeah.
Doesn't matter if someone achieved the highest levels of education, if they have not experienced a different culture or seen someone that's completely different from them, they really haven't been educated. They're still pretty ignorant.
That's I never even looked at it on that level and on that scale. I mean, yeah, it is kind of having and that world, understanding the cultures and the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does make you more cognitive.
It opens your eyes, one. It humbles you because
Hmm.
you realize sometimes, we think that we are the most important thing.
Yes.
We are the sun and everything else, you know, revolves around us, but we are not.
Hmm.
Quickly,
Yes.
oh, okay, wow, this is different. Sometimes it's shocking.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is something that, makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to embrace,
Yeah.
but you witness it, and having witnessed it, you
Yeah.
are richer for the experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
actually impacts a lot of people who might have just started. Maybe you don't have a plan or a weekly plan in place, so you're not disciplined enough, and you're kind of just doing things scattershot here and there. A post here, a post there. You've got to be so intentional with your time. You have to be so intentional with what you do every day. You've got to at least, commit to your business every day. I have a full time job. I have a very intense full time job,
Mm,
but
mm.
I give those people their hours. I work intensely.
Yes.
Give
Say
them
that again, girl. Say that again. You give them their hours. Come on.
I
Say
give
it.
those people their hours. I give them their hours. So
But
don't, if I'm in a meeting, I'm in a meeting. If I'm working, I'm working. You cannot try to steal time from the employer because it catches up to you.
it
So
does. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
give them, and the thing is, I was actually reading the other day about the origin of the 40-hour work week, because most of us we work a 40-hour work week.
Hmm.
And this was introduced because Henry Ford thought that when people work after 40 hours, their productivity actually falls.
Of course.
But the thing is, if you take some of that time outside of the 40 hours and commit an hour a day, an hour, 90 minutes a day, to whether it's learning, whether it's, doing revenue activity, whether it's
Hmm.
planning, you'll find yourself growing, growing, growing. You've got to, you have to make a commitment. You have to commit to the commitment.
Now I'm so excited when people say stuff like this because you tell everybody all the time, so you hear it from someone else's mouth. You're like,
Yeah, you have to
saying the
commit.
right things.
And sometimes it's a challenge for me. Sometimes, I may have woken up late, or I missed, I'm hustling to a meeting, or I have meetings all day, or I have meetings all day that bleed into my personal
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you just have to go with the flow, but you've got to remember, hey, you have to think of it as a baby. You're not going to leave your baby
It
hungry,
is your baby. And
right?
it's not to think about it as it is your baby. It may not be in the physical sense, but
Exactly.
and it's even to some extent it plays a spiritual part in it. It's that
Yeah,
birthing
exactly.
because
But
you
it's
go through
also,
it.
yeah, but it's also a lot easier to commit to that baby when that baby is your passion, not just something that is a money making venture. Just because it makes money doesn't mean it's for you, right?
Good. Yes, yes,
So
definitely.
it's a lot easier to commit to that baby when it feeds your soul. It feeds your spirit. Like I say, what I do during the day feeds my belly, but what
Hmm.
I do after that time feeds me.
Yes.
Right, And yeah, and you put God in the middle of it. You bring God into it. God isn't
Yeah.
gonna lead you. He's not gonna lead you
Mm.
astray. He's not going to put a dream in your heart or give you a purpose and then abandon you to the wind. But you also have to take the steps to get there. A lot of people, they sit and they say, I wish I could do, I wish I could do, I wish I could do. What's stopping you? What's stopping you? You know, I say, okay, if I stop, what will I have? Right?
Yeah.
What's stopping you from going out there and doing something? What is, I mean, that's a whole another conversation, another grind
Yeah,
behind
because that comes with a mindset.
that comes with
I
a
had to learn as a business coach that comes with a mindset. You can't just tell everybody that. They don't know how to take that.
yeah.
And for
You could
them
tell
to
somebody, you
calculate
could
that
tell
in their brain.
somebody, yeah, you could tell somebody go do XYZ, but literally they need to get those steps to say, pick up the phone, make this call,
That
spend
push, that motivation, that
take 2 minutes,
determination.
say these words, hang up the phone, pick it up again, say these words, take 2 minutes, hang up the phone. Sometimes they need it broken down into little bite sizes. Another pitfall sometimes that people fall into is that they may have a big goal, but they didn't break it down into little steps or
Mm.
little milestones that,
Yeah.
well, if I get to this, it means I'm closer to that goal. If I get to that, it means I'm closer to that goal. You got to
Mm.
take little steps. As the saying goes, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yes.
That's the whole thing.
Eventually it's going. But let's move and switch topics.
Oh, okay.
I want to now. I want you to, before we move and switch topic, I wanted you to give us some information on how people can reach you about that opportunity that you got connected to, because this is something that you also promote. Am I correct?
Exactly. Yeah, I
So
have
why don't you give them some information on how to, you know,
connected
contact
me.
you or
Yeah, exactly.
connect?
So they
Now,
can find
yeah.
me on
Mhm.
Facebook. My name is Arlene Mason on Facebook. So you can send me a friend request. I will vet. I will vet friend requests. So, just make sure that you are, serious about it and it's nothing else. Um, my personal Facebook page is Arlene Mason. I have my Get Out and Go Travel Facebook page as well. And on that page, I basically just share places that you can go to. So it gets you thinking about, hey, where can I go to? Where can I go to? You know, that's basically what that page is about. It's like a little mini vacation on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, Macy TT. That's MACYTT. And my email address is GOAG travel, TRAVEL, at gmail.com. So GOAG is, of course, get out and go, travel at gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah. And
So
they can connect with you as well on the on
yeah, they know. Oh, right. So they know that all of the information that you share, it's always on Facebook, and you
right.
can always tap in by instant messaging me, or you can
Right.
catch me on YouTube, on the website, and also remember that P3 Family, they get this on the radio stations on Saturday. So
Very nice.
yes, this will be something, a great opportunity for anyone who's looking to have their little side hustle.
Exactly.
'Cause a lot of entrepreneurs started out where they had jobs. It just didn't start out where I just you go out into the world and that's it.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
had to have your little side
Yeah,
hustle
you
to fill
start
those gaps.
exactly. You start small, you fill those gaps. It may start off as a financial gap that you want to fill. It
Mhm.
may start up as, this is my passion. I want to kind of do something that helps me stay grounded and helps me go back to work and not, be a crazy person in the office. So
Yeah.
it sometimes starts off like that. But whatever you want to do. I mean, even if I was to share some stats really quickly with you, like
Sure,
when I
sure.
was doing some research,
Before you share the stats, we gotta give some homage to the sponsor today.
hey,
Yes, our
sponsor.
sponsor. Yeah, we've got a sponsor. Every one of our podcasts has a sponsor. And our sponsor for today is IKF Cleaning Solutions LLC. They are a cleaning company that does commercial cleaning. They do full floor care and they do construction cleanup. This is a great company. I know them personally. I know the owner of the company, and he is a great business person. And you can also go on their website, which is www.ikfcleaningsolutions with an S.com, or you can call them at 215 501 6058. IKF Cleaning Solutions. I went to Trinity. I just visited, just last year, and I was telling my brother, I said, I love how there is every house has a little store at the bottom. People are taking that opportunity to become on that's entrepreneur in its
Yeah,
rarest but beautiful form.
in its purest
In
form.
its most purest form. I mean, these are mothers and aunties and uncles who can cook, like cook. Because not everybody can do this. You don't trust me, everybody roti or curry stuff. We know that, right? For those
Exactly.
of y'all Trini out there, it's like a favorite delicacy. You will have to go Trinidad to get it, or the doubles. You don't trust everybody doubles. But there are people out there who are really making it, and even in the mechanic world, and then I see that every house they got a little shop, or I just love how that spirit is. You don't have to push people to do that in
Yeah,
Trinidad.
exactly. And yeah, and I mean, all it takes is the kernel of the seed of the idea. And one generation may have the
Mm-hmm.
little cafe under the house, but the next generation might have a cafe on its own, and the next generation might have a mall, and the next
Mm-hmm.
it might be a corporation. So it has to start somewhere.
Some people need the extra income.
Yeah,
It's not even a passion for them.
yeah,
For them, it's like, I got to make this money. You got to show me how to make this extra money. And if that leads you to where your passion is, because that can, because you wanting to make that extra money, and I really need this right now. If you can teach me, and now this has become my principle of getting this money. Now it's become a passion for me, and I like this. So it can be whichever way someone comes to you and be like, I really need to make some money right now.
yeah.
But it becomes a passion after a while because I like doing this.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes when you see the evolution in people that you've helped,
Yeah.
that is that builds you so much. Sometimes even more than a check could. When
Yeah.
you see someone that you help them get started, and they're getting their they're earning their extra income, and they're
Yeah.
growing, and they're doing amazing things, and you see the confidence, and you see the mindset shifting, and then you see them doing for others what you did for that. Actually is,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh my God.
got to get out there, and you've got to share, and you've got to say, hey, I'm in this space, and I look forward to hearing the feedback, and
Yeah.
all the best with this wonderful program and this wonderful
Yeah.
platform as well. I wish you all the best.
I appreciate you. And tell your husband good night, and family and everyone, just send my love. And
Likewise,
again,
likewise.
thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
And again, my name, Beverly Francois. I am the owner of BSF Design. Um, and if you would like to reach out to me, you can call me at 267-279-9348. You can also reach out to my website. Check me out there, www.bsfdesign.com. designllc.com. You can also find out about the grind and more information on the grind on P3 Christian Radio website, which is p3christianradio.com. Check us out. And again, until next week, look forward to seeing you. Bye now.
Night. Bye.